12 Unbelievable Ancient Wonders. Number 12. Caveman Buildings. Found in the Caucasus Mountains in Russia, these have puzzled archaeologists since they were discovered. These are 25,000-year-old buildings that some believe were only 4,000 to 6,000 years old. Also known as dolmens, these mysterious structures are shaped into 90-degree angles, but also with a circle or semicircle that must have acted like some type of door. It's almost like you're expecting Fred Flintstone to walk out at any time. While being overshadowed by many other enigmas across the world, these are just as massive. Over 3,000 of these monuments are found in the Western Caucasus, and many still are being found. It's hard to imagine how ancient people were able to maneuver such large stones like we see in this photo. Unfortunately, some of these are being destroyed by neglect or vandals. Number 11. Teotihuacan Aztec Temple. Near Mexico City lies a vast amount of Aztec temples and pyramids. The largest and most impressive pyramid at this site is the Temple of the Feathered Serpent God. It's believed that this pyramid was home to hundreds of thousands of human sacrifices to the serpent god known as Quetzalcoatl. More than 200 sacrificial burials were found at the pyramid, as well as necklaces made of teeth. Since many men were found with weapons, they believe that they were soldiers who went through the gruesome sacrificial process. In November 2014, large amounts of mercury were discovered, as well as jade statues, jaguar skeletons, shells, and some of the first rubber balls. The building is decorated with carvings of the serpent god along the exterior, as you can see in this photo. Number 10. Nan Madol. On the tiny island of Pohnpei, Micronesia, lies an ancient city in ruins. It's believed to have at one point 25,000 people around 1500 BC. Scholars believe that at least 500,000 metric tons of material were transported to this ancient site in order to build this city. Some individual boulders weigh as much as 50 tons each. The 200-acre-sized city is also mysterious in the sense that it was made up of 100 artificial islands. Many artifacts were found at this site, including several thousand shell tools, ornaments, and pottery. Inhabitants of this island believe that this area is cursed and think the stones were transported using black magic. If only things like this were that easy to explain. Number 9. Baalbek. You won't find this ancient structure in Rome or Greece. Try Lebanon. Some believe that it's evidence of a super civilization. In Roman times, it was known as Heliopolis, or the Sun City, and it's home to some of the largest stones ever quarried. Some were actually 1,200 tons, and remains a true enigma on how it was constructed. The oldest part of this ruin has no known origins, despite some of the buildings at the site being Roman. It seems highly unlikely for Romans to be able to quarry such large stones. They had neither the technology nor the resources, especially due to the fact that this site is so far from Rome. It outdates all known civilizations that inhabited this area. Fortunately, it has survived the centuries despite many wars in this region. But with recent conflict, it's suggested to avoid this area. Number 8. Temple of Karnak. With ancient Egypt being home to some of the more notable ancient wonders of the world, the Temple of Karnak is certainly one of them. It's a temple complex that's comprised of temples, chapels, pylons, and other buildings. Located in the ancient capital of Thebes, it dates back about 4,000 years ago and has an impressive display of artwork, hieroglyphics, and architecture. It's also considered to be the largest religious building ever constructed, covering 200 acres of land, and was an ancient place of pilgrimage. Enormous ceremonies and festivals were held within its walls each year. When Ramses the Great was pharaoh and Egypt had reached its golden age, this was considered to be the most important of all religious complexes in the land. Today, the vast statues still remain, but during its peak, one can only imagine its greatness. Number 7. Tiwanaku. What may appear to be an ordinary stone structure built on the altitude of 12.5 thousand feet becomes quite intriguing after doing further research. Some of the stones in the city weigh about 150 tons, and some believe it's the oldest city in the world. Modern carbon dating suggests that the city was built sometime between 800 to 400 BC, but the techniques of the sanding of the stones leads many to believe it was much older, dating back to about 15,000 BC. Either way, it's one of the most mysterious cities we know of. Could the cradle of civilization really be in South America? The stones were carved with extreme precision with astronomical positioning. The civilization who built this is believed to be the ancient ancestors of the Incas. Number 6. Stonehenge. One of the most well-known ancient mysteries is the Monument of Stonehenge, located in the English county of Wiltshire. This is built in a circle using extremely large rocks standing up vertically, and is believed to have been built in the year 2500 BC. One of the biggest rocks found at this site is about 30 feet tall and weighs 25 tons. What's truly strange about this is the closest place they could have gotten the stone from was a quarry about 20 miles away to the north. People at this time considered the land to be sacred due to the abundance of game meat available here. Some claim it acted as a symbol of unification, while others believe it was a religious site. You can see in this photo people trying to reconstruct how it was built using ball bearings, but many are unsure if this is how it was truly built. Number 5. Göbekli Tepe. Archaeologists came across a startling discovery 6 miles from Urfa, an ancient city in southeastern Turkey, and they dug up a massive carved stone they believed to be 11,000 years old. These were made when mankind had yet to develop metal tools or even pottery. The Smithsonian questions whether or not it's the world's oldest temple. It predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. This location would have been a mecca for hunters and gatherers at the time, centuries before farming was developed. As they dug deeper, they realized it was arranged in a circle, made of limestone blocks. Using only flint tools, workers shaped the stones and the pillars before moving them 100 yards to the side of the temple. Number 4. Easter Island. Many of us think of Easter Island as a tiny little place in the Pacific off the coast of Chile, with mysterious heads sticking out of the ground. You may have never known that these mysterious wonders get even more mysterious. These were constructed around the years 1250 BC to 1500 BC by people of Polynesian ancestry. Recent discoveries, like you see in this photo, prove that these actually have bodies attached to their heads. As people began to dig deeper, they uncovered that the statues were much bigger than previously thought. They've also exposed carvings on their back, and some believe that these were traditional tribal tattoos. Number 3. Bosnian Pyramid. Many wouldn't come to Bosnia and expect to see a pyramid. It's possibly that because it wasn't discovered in 2005. If the claims are real, the Bosnian Pyramid would be about 25,000 years old, and the oldest pyramid ever built. Archaeologists are extremely skeptical of this because it defies accepted history. If you take a closer look at it, it truly takes the form of a man-made structure. Many want these extraordinary claims to be backed up with extraordinary evidence. If it's real, it does deserve a place on our list. Take a look at it for yourself and let us know what you think in the comment section. Were there advanced civilizations in this area that we didn't know of? Number 2. Machu Picchu. This is an incredible work of architecture in the middle of the Andes Mountains, and shows what kind of feats the Inca civilization was capable of. There are a few reasons archaeologists believe it was built. Some claim it was a ceremonial site, a military stronghold, or even a getaway for the ruling elite. Despite not having advanced warfare technology like some of their foes, they still excelled in knowledge pertaining to agriculture, architecture, and astronomy. Many of these well-crafted stones cannot even be penetrated with a knife, proving how well the stones fit together. And number 1. The Great Pyramids of Giza. There is no other wonder of the ancient world quite as mysterious as the ancient pyramids of Giza. No other monument has created so much intrigue other than these feats of engineering that we still couldn't reproduce to this day. It's estimated that there's a total of 2.3 million blocks of limestone that weigh at least 2 to 30 tons each. They're also precisely aligned with the constellation of Orion. The paste used to combine the stones is still from an unknown origin, and even with all our technology today, we can't reproduce its chemical compound. It remained the world's tallest building for 3,800 years, and each side is the same length within 1/10 of an inch. All this was supposedly constructed without the technology of the wheel, or without metal tools. The quarry used to get stones was at least 500 miles from the location of Giza. It almost appears as though humans could not have succeeded in completing these structures without help from out of this world.